Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd want to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I'd love to know what you're stitching and crafting and everything about you. And if you're a returning stitching friend, I also want to know what you're stitching. You know I love to hear that. And I am so glad that you are here and let me talk stitching pretty much on a weekly basis. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. And Mo does too, because then he doesn't have to hear me talking about damn all the time. It is December. Can you believe it is December 1st? I can't. I really can't. This year, it feels like it had just started. And we were talking plans of 2023, and here we are now talking plans for 2024. It is just amazing to me. So given that it was December, if you are new, I have a tendency to break out the Christmas sweaters when December starts. And I was all set to do so. And these sweaters and these tops, they're older than my kids. Back when, you know, ugly sweaters wasn't a thing. You just wore them. And that was just kind of the thing, right? And so they only come out at Christmas time and they get worn, you know, once or twice during the year, and that's it. And then they go back in the closet. So I had one on. It was a little warm, so I had just a long sleeve, not a sweater, a top, and I was still, my personal heating system today is working at high capacity. And so even that long sleeve was just way too much. I said, I can't wear this. So I got a chance to break out something else though that I thought would be fun to show you. I don't have a lot of t-shirts. I've come to that conclusion. A lot of fun t-shirts. Do you know what I mean? I have just plain tops and this, that, and the other. So I decided I wanted to remedy that. And so, you know how November, the sales started, they didn't, you know, it used to be the day after Thanksgiving, you had your sale and boom, you know, that was always the big thing. Now it's weeks in advance, they already started. So I was doing a little shopping on Etsy, and one of the things that I shopped for came in, so I thought I'd wear it today. So it is a t-shirt that says, easily distracted by cross stitch and dogs. Very true. If you would like to know where on Etsy I got that, I'd be happy to let you know. I don't remember off the top of my head. I may or may not have something else, at least one other thing coming. So when they come in and I get a chance to wear them, I will show you. But I'm super excited. It's nice and soft, actually. And I'm feeling way more comfortable in the short sleeve than I was in the long sleeve. So we will have to wait another week for me to break out those fabulous Christmas sweaters. Although, running right into the next thing I want to talk about, in December, I will do some Flossmas videos. So of course that gives me a prime opportunity to wear some of those. I will do probably 4 or 5-ish. I have to look and see. And maybe if I have some big brainstorms and ideas, I might do more than that. But in the course of at least once a week in the course of December, I will add an extra video. And I have not filmed them yet. I don't think I will this weekend necessarily because it is the Jingle Ball, but I'm hoping early next week. I know which one I want to be the first one, and I do know, you know, several of the different themes I want to do for them. So I will break out the Christmas sweaters then, or the holiday sweaters then, and we can have a lot of fun with it. So keep an eye out for some extra videos. They will be Flossmas. I might do something like Flossmas 2023, number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever, so that they're different titles than the ones from last year. I don't remember if I did the year for last year. So that'll be fun, and I'm looking forward to sharing some extra stuff over the next month. So keep an eye out. All right, other than that, I have 2 full finishes I want to show you. I have 12 projects to show you. No stitching finishes, but I did have a very tiny start, which probably could be finished in the month of December. So that's always fun. And then I have lots of plans to talk about and some possible starts that I'm going to do over the course of December and all of that fun stuff. So let's just jump right in. All right, this is actually the second time I filmed this. I was cruising along. I was probably like 10 minutes in, and then I don't know, everything kind of just went downhill. Usually once I get by the intro, I'm all right. But so I'm going to feel deja vu-ish for a little while until I get past the part that I was talking about. But anyway, that's just me. But if I have a funny look on my face because I feel like I've said something, now you know why. You won't know that I had previously said it or not. Anyway, my first finish, let's talk about the fall season, because we are technically still in fall, right? Until December, whatever, 20th, 21st. And so I fully finished my fall blessings. This is a pattern from Lila Studio. There is Seasons Blessings is just the fall and the winter one. And then I believe the other one is called Seasons Blessings 2, and that is spring and summer. So I finished this one to model, and I brought it with me, my summer one. I wanted to do exactly the same thing, and I will stitch all 4 of these because I really do like them. And they're, if you thought about it, they're fabulous stitches. They really stitch up fast. They're easy, they're fun. I've enjoyed them. So I wanted to model this exactly like this. The size of the stitches is the same, so I decided to do the same exact finish, which made it really easy. The hardest part was trying to find the backing color. So very simple. This is just wrapped around comic book board. That's what I generally like to use for anything that's obviously smaller than the comic book board, which at the moment, most of my finishes are smaller than that, so it's really not a problem. That's wrapped around that. Then what I did was I found a piece of felt. You see here, I pulled out the yellow for the bird. Here, I decided, I looked at the browns and I wasn't really loving that idea, but I found this. It's kind of it's terracotta, actually. I'm not even gonna say it's kind of. It is terracotta, and it is from the colorway terracotta from Paper Tray Inc., which is a paper crafting company, for those of you who paper craft. And I really like their felt. It comes in small rolls. It's only 5 inches is the height of it. So unless it's something less than 5 inches, you can't use it for bigger things. But their felt is, so there's 3 types of felt if you don't do a lot of felting or work with it. There's the really thin stuff that you get from Big Box. And I'll show you what a piece that I got from Michael's, what I did with it. There is an in-between kind of works without being super thick and expensive, and kind of is versatile. And then the most expensive is the one that's the fully kind of wool type of felt. And I believe that the Paper Tray Inc.'s felt is that, given the feel of it and the thickness of it. But it is nice, and if you want it for smaller things, I love using it, to be honest with you. And if you are a color matcher, it matches their cardstock, their ink, their ribbons, the whole bit. You know, they have whole matching lines. Anyway, so easy finish though. Basically, I decided how, and now that I already have one done, it's super easy because I just measure summer. But originally I decided how much I wanted of a border around my actual stitched piece. Cut the felt for that. Then what I do is I take comic book board, and I mean, this is it. This is how unadorned the back is going to look. I cut it slightly smaller than the felt. And that way I just glue it to the felt, and the felt just is a little bit farther, so you don't see any of the white, but it gives it the structure so it doesn't flap at all. And then on the back of that, you saw there was a little square, rectangular square of brown felt. That did come from Michael's. Whenever I attach the felt to the back to hold in my ribbons, and you see the ribbon is just a really nice brown that matches the browns there, I just use that felt. I mean, why get super expensive felt and use it on the back? So these, the way they hang, I have 2 floating shelves from IKEA, and Mo, about every 7-8 inches, he hung a little hook. It's one of those, it's the little hooks that come underneath, and the shelves are white, and he was able to find white hooks, and it just, you know, you can just screw it right into the wood. And then I just hang these right underneath. So I have a shelving unit, but then I have underneath I can hang as well. And I wanted this to hang tight like this one does. I really liked how it didn't show a lot of, it doesn't need to show a lot of the ribbon because I really just want to highlight this. And so it hangs really close to the top where the hook is. You will never see the back. The back is against the wall. So I feel no problem leaving it empty like that and using just the cheapest of the felts. It's gonna stay. I've glued it well. It's not going anywhere. And that way I can save my more expensive felts for the fronts and the things you're going to see. So this is now, I had summer up all the time because I had a spot open. I still have the flamingo from Helen D hanging up because it's cute and I had the spot open. But this will now replace the summer, and the summer will get put away and this one will go up probably until whenever I get the winter one done, which probably won't be by the first day of winter. So there was that first one. Slam dunk, easy. I knew what I was going to do. It was just a matter of sitting down, finding that felt color, which I was so thrilled to find, and then putting it together. Now this one should have been a finish last year. I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all. I stitched it last year and I had the parts to it, but once I gave the stitched part as a Christmas present to Mo, and I said I will fully finish it. And once Christmas came and the trees went down, it kind of sat in the back burner because, you know, I didn't need to finish it. Now Mo likes things simple. I'm prefacing that with that. This is probably the easiest, ridiculously easiest finish you will ever see when it comes to adding just a hanger. I literally took some baker's twine and I have, see this right here? This is full to the brim with baker's twine, both solid and say red and white or blue and white or whatever, and a few metallics. I used it a lot with my paper crafting. So I have, and that's not even all of my baker's twine. You can't see, there's another basket with more. But I have pretty much every possible color you could want of baker's twine. So I went through, I saw this red, which is a little darker than the little hat on the sea otter. And I just said, you know what? That's going to work. And that's what I did. Now, this sea otter is from, I believe, La Selva Designs. If you want, I'm 99% sure of that. If you need me to check or you looked in La Selva and you couldn't find it, let me know and I will look up my Etsy purchases. This is a wood stained hoop that I did get from Etsy. I do not remember, I want to say something like Jessica Rose. But again, if you would like to know, I can find that information on my Etsy. This is the second time I've used one of her stained hoops, and I love using them. There was a piece for Connor that I finished in a hoop, and I did the same thing. I used one of those. I believe that's where I used it. And I decided because this was the blue fabric, I wanted kind of a blue stain to go with it. And then if you look and see, so what I ended up doing, I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to some of these finishes. So I basically packed the inside of that little hoop with batting, you know, just the regular batting that people do to make things puffy. And then again, this is just the Michaels felt. And you can see I didn't have it completely. This side's cut really nice, this side, a little jagged. But I put down the batting, I folded over what was left of the fabric, and I did glue the fabric to the batting a little bit. Like I put a layer of my my glue there, and then I glued the felt onto the back from there. And that was pretty much, that was the finish right there. So this will be up to Mo if he wants it on the regular Christmas tree, if he wants it in his office, or I have a Christmas tree up here that is all handcrafted ornaments, mostly by me, a couple gifts from other people. Not all stitching, some of it's paper crafting and other crafts, but I do have that tree up here. So if he decides he just wants it up here, then I'll put it up here, type of thing. But that was a long, long, long overdue full finish. So it's done. Now I can move on. Alrighty, so let's talk our stitching. Now, categories. Categories, if you're wondering, I'm part of Whip Warriors, a Facebook group that is open right now and will close by the end of the year. And then it doesn't open again until mid-November of the next year. And it's a group that it started as No New Starts. It's evolved, it's changed. I'm in the stitch what you want, when you want kind of category because you know that's me. And their biggest thing is no matter what your category is, you have to participate somehow or other. Now they have something called a road trip, which is a year-long activity that you can participate in, and participating in that on a regular basis is your participation, I believe. But if you don't do that, and I didn't do that this year, I may do it next year. They have all sorts of games that you can do. And categories is probably one of my favorites. If you've been watching me at any amount of time, you know that. So this month, the letter was B. and I didn't feel like I had enough stitches. So I pulled out some of I only did 4 of the 12 categories. I've never done 12 out of 12 before. I just can't think of that many. So I pulled out a couple of these pieces that you wouldn't normally see, just because I wanted to get a little bit more progress and feel like I accomplished something towards what my participation. I mean, I get the number of stitches in a month easily, but you have to show it on the group, right? And I don't always show everything on the group. But I did pull out Black Vintage Sampler. You'd think I'd know this by now. I've been stitching it since January. It's an Owl Forest embroidery piece, and it is one of my 3 rotational pieces. What's funny is this is on the rotation for next week, so you will see it next week too. But the letter B, I used it for pattern title, Black Vintage Sampler. So that's it fully, and that's top to bottom the size that it's going to be. That very area is the very, very, very bottom. And that is the side here. So I do have just a tiny little bit of, oh, I have a good amount down there, but on the side, not very much extra. This is 18 count Rainy Day from Bestitchme, one of the fabrics that I absolutely enjoy stitching on. And there is some on the side here. Not super interesting, but I am working along that, getting the border. I've decided what I'm going to do. You can see here I've got a lot of this stitched. Well, it starts off just this part here, and then you add all of the extra pieces. So you can see here I've got it stitched, and I'm going to do that all the way around and then go back and do the fill-ins just to make sure everything matches up, because I do have a bit of an underlying worry that it's not. So I did some of that border. I try to do a little bit each time. I finished up this flower here. No, I didn't. I did most of this one right here. We have down, if I keep going down here, we have the mermaid is finished, except for her face needs a little bit of back stitching. There is minimal back stitching in this piece. I'll do it all at the end. It's the face of the mermaid, and then the face of the lady and the gentleman. And that might be it, to be honest with you. So it's really not all that much. And then there's a couple fish around the mermaid. Those all got done as well. So I did get a little bit more accomplished on this. What was the killer was I had done probably a good 300 stitches on this, but for Whip Warriors, for a lot of their categories, some of them are counting, some of them are not for the games, but you have to show before and show an after. Well, I forgot to take the picture of the before, and I went and I looked to see when I had any pictures of this, because I generally, once I've used them for Whip Warriors, I take them out of my phone. I don't keep them. I clean up my phone photo area a lot. What I had was way too long ago, so I had nothing that I could put. So I couldn't count those in my in the game, which is why I did some more extra in the end. So this will come out to play again next week. You will most likely get a chance to see it again. I have been really good so far keeping up with my 2 seasonal Quakers and this one. And this is stitched in not 310, but in Anchor Black. And I know I get asked every once in a while, is there a reason why I use the Anchor instead of the 310? And I can't articulate necessarily the exact reason. For me, it feels a little bit thicker. I would say that's probably everybody's own kind of feeling. I'm not sure if it even really is. It just kind of feels like it is. I'm trying to move things around here so that I have room to put these. I have 2 little tables surrounding me here, so you'd think I'd have enough room for everything. So I feel like it is, and I do 2 strands on 18 count. I am a 2-strander for 18 count. A lot of people like 1 strand. I just like things fluffier, to be honest with you. That's just me. So that's what I do. Alrighty. So you won't forget that one, because you'll probably see it very shortly, as in next week. All right. This was also a categories. One of the categories is, I think it's plant or animal, and I did bird. So this is Harvest Star Tea. And it is, the Etsy store is So Much to Love. You can see it down there. And does it say here? I believe it's Michelle Palmer Designs, and you can find it. There's a series of them, as you can see. This is number 3 of 5 on the So Much to Love site. And I have to tell you, it's funny, that looks bluer than it does here in this picture, but I am loving how these colors are shaded and blended. This looks so realistic when I look at it. I love how the shades are going, and I really enjoy stitching this. So the bird is completely done, and I think, yep, I have all of the extra floof stuff here. This would be the stem, and then we get to the pumpkin part, the green pumpkin. But I did get quite a bit of this done. This is 18 count Ocean Air, and it is from Fox and Rabbit. And I found the Fox and Rabbit Aida at Hollis Hands Creates on Etsy. That's where I was able to find some. And I really like this Ocean Air, and I do like the Fox and Rabbit Aida. It's really very nice. It's that, again, that perfect in between Aida, not too soft, not too stiff, and it works perfectly for me. So I'm really enjoying it. But that's where I got to. And I would say, unless I need it for a prompt, I'm not sure you'll see this one in December. Although it is a fun one, and it is a fairly easy one. So I suppose if I was on a call or something and I wanted something where I didn't need to really have to count and everything else, that could make an appearance. So I'm going to say, for the most part, probably not this month, but I'm reserving the right to change my mind on that. This one, I'm not sure you've seen this one all year in 2023. And I don't even know why I pulled it out, but I was flipping through, and I pulled out its Prairie Schooler, and it's called Christmas Eve. And I'm stitching the big piece here. Now, I did change Santa's face. You know I changed the color of Santa's face every single time. I'm just not a fan of the mauve faces. And so generally that means I usually have to change the cheeks a little bit too. The other thing I'm changing, do you see down here in the snow, it says things like Noel, Merry Christmas, Peace, Love, and there's different colors. So I had started to stitch that originally, and I started it with that tan, and I didn't like that. So I pulled that out, and I said, well, you know what? I'll do them all in the light. I don't know if it was a green or whatever it was, mint. I did that. I didn't like that either. So I pulled that out. That area you're going to see looks a little messy, but I'm just going to leave it at this point because I just want to keep going. All I'm going to do is make this just a full snowbank and not have any words in it in the end. Other than that, I don't believe, besides Santa's face and changing that and pulling those words out, I think all of the other colors are going to remain the same. Now I'm just going to hold it like this because I don't have enough to hold it sideways. That's what I have so far. And yeah, don't look too closely here. This is where I had already stitched the white around the start of the word Noel, and I pulled that out, which was very difficult. So a lot of my stitching time on this was also frogging time. And then I restitched in that area, but because I already had stitches in there, the white didn't lay as nicely as I was hoping it would, but that's okay. Once the whole thing's done, this is going to be scrapbooked. It's not going to be that big a deal. So this was already done pretty much. I don't think I touched Santa at all. I spent a lot of time pulling out the stitches already, and then I worked my way across here. I think I was only here last time, so I would have done all of this, and then I started with the snow. Ultimately, I don't think this will be, if I were to just sit down and kind of stitch with it, I think it would go on the fairly quicker side. And if I need to, I kind of wanted to get across here. So if I was doing a call, just filling in the white stitching would actually be perfect, because then I wouldn't even have to count or worry. And it would kind of occupy my hands, and I'd be able to get some stuff done there. This is 18 count Chinchilla from Mystic Fabrics. Isn't that pretty? Really pretty. So I had started this on kind of an opal. It was a blue, but it was kind of it was just an off color blue, and I was having to change a lot of the different colors of the flosses, and I just wasn't feeling it. So I actually did restart it on this Chinchilla, and I like it a lot more. So that's where I am. And I could see bringing that out. I'm not necessarily, you know this, a seasonal stitcher. I don't have to stitch Christmas at Christmas time. I could stitch it in April if I wanted to. But, you know, sometimes I just feel like doing it. And I don't have a ton of Christmas stitches going, to be honest with you. Just a few. So there's only so many to choose from if I'm in the mood for a Christmas stitch. This was the last week on this. This is November's Chrysanthemum, and it is from Cottage Garden Samplings. And if you remember last week, I talked about how I pulled out all of these is usually 2 colors of floss. And I pulled that out and I found a variegated DMC that I started to stitch the letters with. Loved it. And so I got all the words done. And I really enjoyed it. And I love how, yes, it's variegated and it does look different colors, but my eyes can read this one. When the variegation goes too light, I can't read variegated words. My eyes just don't see them right. So that was it. That there was, you know, these letters are more than you think they are. And I was kind of paying attention a little bit, like, okay, if this part was really the lighter brown, I did want to go to where it was darker just to kind of have that flow of color. So I did have to think a little bit more about placement. Not overly. And I didn't do 2 strands in the sense I did my loop start. I didn't bother with that. I did stitch one at a time just because that's the way I find it's easiest to stitch these letters right here. But I wouldn't necessarily have done it if it was just some rows. I might have just done it straight one way and then back the other. But this one is done on an 18 count Bamino and is from Tropical Stitches. And oh, I think I also did, I think once I finished the words, I did a tiny bit of this. I think I just had the orange there, and so I did add some of the green. There's a few more here, and then the 3rd chrysanthemum is going to be right there. So this one, for 2024, I could easily see this one being a 2024 finish. It just had too little done for me to finish this year, even though I had started it in 2022. I only had started November and then December, and then all the others were started in 2023. All right, so full coverage. This is the first one I'm going to show you. I was still on my dragons. This is Mini Until the End. It's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artwork is by Rose Kahn. And I was still in my dragon phase. I'm currently reading A Court of Thorn and Roses right now, that series, but I still have 4th Wing in my brain. So I said I'm still going to do dragons. And, you know, I can just fold it over. I'm still in blue, and I absolutely love the blues, but I think I'm blued out. I know. It's a shock to say that I am, me of all people, I'm tired of blue, but I am. So you can see, well, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm just going to do this because I didn't really come down that side at all. I filled in some more as we go along here. I'm just filling in. There's not a lot of confetti here that I have left. So I'm excited about that. And then I just keep going, working my way here. I stitch in hand in full, even full coverage. So that means that I don't necessarily have a plan. There's so many different ways people stitch full coverage, and I love hearing about them. And I just don't do any of them. Not one blasted one. I am the stitch where you want, when you want category on this. I said, you know what? I'm at the point where I could pull in a brand new color. Well, I pulled in a brand new color, but it was still a shade of blue. It's a little different, excuse me, but it's still a shade of blue. And then I did work my way across here because I am one who likes to get to the corners, even if it's just a line or 2 of those. This is 18 count white aida, 2 strands over 1 full cross. And I do think I'm going to let my dragons go rest for a while. I'll tell you in plans, or when I show you the next full coverage, what my plans are with next week's full coverage. Alrighty, next. So this one here, it's funny because you look at this and you say, why in the world were you stitching this? I'll tell you why. I was watching Nicole from StemX Stitch, and I want to make sure. Nicole has a new video out, by the way, and she's been away for a little while. So if you haven't realized that, go watch her. I'm halfway through. I still have some of her video to go through. That's kind of the story of my life in floss tubes right now. I'm halfway through. But I keep them in my list, and then I go back and I rewatch them when I get a chance or watch the second halves or whatever. But anyway, so Nicole was not stitching this. She was stitching and had finished a little part of, oh, when I meant to go look, she was talking about how with these pieces, Lola Crow, I guess, might have done little parts of them that you can stitch rather than doing the full piece. And you know how this was a stitch along last year, I think. And this year it was the terrarium, was it? And so she had stitched a part of that type of thing and finished it. And it was stitched, finished. I don't believe it was, or almost stitched, finished. I don't remember, but it looks cool how she's going to fully finish it. And so she was talking about the Lola Crow Sal's and stitch alongs. And I said, you know, I haven't stitched my Haunted Library. So this is what it looks like. I went with a different fabric than that. And I decided to pull it out. And I got, you know, I mean, progress is relative, right? I think I got 300 or 400 stitches, but you know, I know where they are. You may not notice the difference. So this is wild. Yes, I did go wild for the fabric. This is 18 count Imagine from Mystic Fabrics. I was in Misty's fabric of the month, and I ended up dropping myself down to just 2. I'm only right now in Fabrics by no, not Fabrics by Stephanie. Bestitchme and Under the Sea Fabrics. Those are the only 2 I'm currently in. Anyway, but this was fun because I got this in a fabric of the month. And so I said, you know what? I mean, there's going to be a lot of stitching still in here. And then, you know, it'll be scrapbooked, I'm sure. And, so it won't look this wild when it's done, but it's kind of cool. Like the Haunted Librarian is going to be in kind of this lighter area, which is neat. And she's got a mistake in her, and I keep ignoring it and not stitching that area. So I stitched over here. I decided, I don't know, unconsciously that maybe I want to finish this and work my way possibly, which means that'll be like near the end, the last possible. And I am not doing the clown, the It clown here. On the Lola Crow site, there was, I believe on the Facebook page, somebody had done a typewriter instead, which I thought was fantastic because this is books and authors and everything. So I'm going to do the typewriter there instead. But anyway, I decided I wanted to do some of this. So I added more staircase. I added some books. And you can see there, I haven't done, there's one candle I have to do. And then I'll do the tops of all the candles when they're all stitched. But I'm getting there. I'm working my way down. I am not a mystery stitch along sort of person. I really like to see the finished part. 1, to decide if I ultimately like it. And 2, I have to be able to see the whole thing to decide the fabrics. That's just my method and my process. So a lot of times, if they're mystery stitch alongs, I wait till they're done and I join in after the fact. All right, this was not slated this week either for a stitch. This is Summer Quaker from Lila's Studio. And for transportation, it's probably not called a boat, but I called it a boat. And that was the letter B. Now, what's good with categories is if it's not currently stitched within the piece, you just have to show the picture to show where there is one. You don't have to actually physically stitch whatever it is you're saying is in your piece for categories. So there it is right there. And I really concentrated on, let me fold this over this way. You know, I don't think I did any more of the section with the crab. That is still not done. It will eventually get done. But this big piece here, and I think I made a mistake, so I had to pull out. That was kind of the moral of my story this week. Pulling out stitches. I want to say I probably had to, at least 3 pieces I had to pull stitches out of. And then I decided to do a little bit more of the letters. Be careful with the letters. So I ended up keeping it, but There's one H, well, no, the H there's one H that is smaller than the others. I purposely fixed that. And then the eyes, some of them are taller and some of them are shorter. And I was going to keep them all the same size, but I had accidentally stitched this one shorter. And so when I got to this one, which is also charted as shorter, I decided to end up keeping it that way. So that kind of, I kind of went back and forth and I waffled. So that took some time as well. But that's pretty much the section I worked on. I didn't get a ton done in this. This is 18 count Nantucket Sky by Fabrics by Stephanie. So yeah, so next week is Black Vintage, so you'll see this the week after that. And I don't know what's gonna happen when I have my, well, I'll have my new year, new start. Black Vintage will not be done. And then of course, there was that other Lila Studio one, the Autumn. Oof. Have you seen Autumn Quaker? I am going to change, I'm looking for something as we're talking here. I am going to change the wording because I didn't quite love the wording. And let me see. Let me grab a piece of cardstock while I'm here because I don't want to show the pattern. The next piece is from the, let me fold it over so you can see, the 2023 Christmas ornament, just cross stitch Christmas ornaments issue. And see this guy? That was the first one that caught my attention. So it's called The Decorated Owl, designed by Jessie Schofield. That's the info there. The pattern's right below the cardstock. And I am doing it not quite on the black that's shown there, but I did go dark color. So let me put this cardstock over here. And I pulled some scraps, and I haven't even, look at this piece. I haven't even cut it apart yet, but I keep all my scraps, and I am definitely, I may buy a lot of fabric, but I am frugal with how I use it too. Every little piece, unless I can't use it, finally gets used. This is, it's an 18 count. I want to say navy, and I want to say it's from Garibaldi's. I got this back in 2020, and it's actually Charles Craft, because I didn't even really, that was when I was just discovering hand dyes. I didn't even know the difference between Charles Craft and Zweigart and all of that. And this was cheaper, to be honest with you. So I went with it. And it's thicker. I don't know if all Charles Craft is like that than the Zweigart, but, and it's fine. I mean, it dyed nicely. I mean, that's kind of a cool color. It's showing lighter there. It's not, this is not quite as light in real life. So I've got, that is actually what you see is a gray, not a white, but then I'm getting ready to do the white stitching. So I've got that done and any of the tree area done. I think that's all. Yep. So I have the white stitching, the eyes of the owl, and then snowflakes. And I could see, this is for me to make a Christmas ornament with. Now, having said that, remember, this is what it looks like. I should take a picture. You know what I'll do next time is I'll take a picture and I'll put it on my iPad. I don't think I did that for, let me see. Oh, you know, I did. Perfect. So I can show you it better this way. So that's what it looks like. I am going to stitch for this ornament. I'm going to stitch, I probably won't do those little things, but I'll stitch these down here. But if you wanted to make a little kind of snowy-ish trading card, I'm just saying, this owl on the branch with a little bit of like a snowy pine cone or whatever, if you have this magazine, check the sizing because it depends on what size fabric you're using. And, but that, I don't have any trading cards right in front of me. This part right now is certainly less than 2.5 by 3.5. But as soon as I stitched this, I said, oh, just a little aside. And so far what I've stitched has been easy, very easy to stitch. So if you were thinking of potentially participating and you do have this magazine, it just might be something that you might want to stitch. I might myself stitch a version of that for the next swap. we will see. Oh, let me put the magazine in there so I don't lose it. Alrighty. This one's being put away after today, actually, and I won't see it again this year. For the month of November, I was stitching every day, or almost every day, not quite, on McChristmas. It is from Cariad. I don't know if that's going to show up. Cariad Cross Stitch Designs, and they are on Facebook. And it is called McChristmas. And I'm kind of grayed out, to be honest with you. I love this guy, and he is so cute, but I'm ready to put it away. After doing this for the month, and I've been in gray, except for the nose, all month long. And I would do probably like a strand or two each and every day, which, depending on if I was doing more confetti-ish or not, could be 25 minutes for like the 25/7. But that's what he looks like. I decided I wanted to go down a little bit further. I was thinking maybe I could get into, because obviously then the rest of the plaid will come back down over here. I was thinking, oh, maybe I could pull in some more of the reds so I'd be out of the gray, but I didn't. And then, but I went with some deeper gray here. I kept switching back and forth, to be honest with you. Every day it was something different. This is an 18 count Lotus from Bestitchme. So it's a very pale purple. And that's where McChristmas is done. I did go back and I filled in a few confetti pieces. This side of the hat has a few confetti pieces along the edge, but I may wait until I'm back down here with the plaid again to pull those colors out. But there was a few here that were just kind of sore thumbs, so I went back and I did some of those. So that's where we are. And I think it's so cute, but I am so done with him for the year. That, you'll see it in my project parade, but until then, away he goes. Okay. Now, I did 2 full coverages again this week. Same 2 that I did last week. So this is the Lazlo Koday #1. It is charted by Stitches So Beautiful, and the artwork is Lazlo Koday. And I am up here, but I brought in some more color. And here we are. This is 18 count white aida again, 2 strands over 1. That's how I do all my full coverages. And I am pretty much, this area is all filled in. Until we get down here, there's no confetti anymore up here. And I was starting to do this over here. And I went back and forth to filling some of that in to the moon. The moon itself is probably like 6 or 7 colors, but there is one main color that you're seeing here. So I've been working on that, and then I did a couple other of the yellows. I am still really enjoying this, so this one will stay, I think, another week at least. I'm riding it. You know, I kind of got blued out with my dragons, but I'm finding satisfaction in filling in that confetti area. I mean, the confetti is nice because it's confetti, but not like one piece, one color, one stitch of one X of one color and then one X of another color. There's at least a strand's worth, so I can travel with it. And so I'm really, really enjoying that at the moment. So I'm going to keep that. I will probably bring in another one because I enjoyed switching off each day with the full coverages. And I'll talk about that if I remember in plans. Alrighty. Now, so many of you, and I don't know if Julie, Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, was the very first one who did this. I really don't know, to be honest with you. But I know lots of people now have snow day stitches, right? And last year I had one, but I do it a little different. If it's going to snow, I'm going to stitch summer because I like summer way better than winter. If I have to be warm rather than cold any day of the week. And I love the sunshine and just the brightness and everything about summer compared to winter. So I was driving home. I had an appointment. What day was it? I think it might have been Tuesday morning. And we had a couple days. So it's been a little bit more temperate. I think yesterday it did hit 50. And today I think it's going to hit 50 again. But there was a couple days where overnight it was like 20. And I don't think we were going to go over 30. Or we might have just barely gone over 30. And so I was driving, and then all of a sudden there was a few flakes flying around, and I said, that's it. Because last year, that's all we got. We got no actual snow, nothing ever stuck or anything. And so I'm not sure that's going to be the case this year. Looking at what all the predictions are, we may be getting snow, but I'm just taking it where I can. So I saw about 5 flakes floating around, and I said, I'm going to start a snow day stitch. Now, I hadn't had one picked out, so I went home and I went through and I said, you know, I haven't stitched this in a while and I enjoy stitching this. So I am going to stitch Signs Series Summer. I call this Summer Signs because Signs Series Summer is just too many S's for me. So if you hear me say Summer Sign, this is the one I'm talking about. And it is Twin Peak Primitives, who are currently, as of today, the 1st of December, having, I believe, a 50% off sale on their digitals, I think. I'm not sure on everything. I'm not 100% sure, but I did see somebody had posted on my Facebook group that there was a sale. So if you were in the market for some Twin Peaks, you might want to look. Anyway, this is what I decided I wanted to stitch for my snow stitch. So anytime there is even a flake of snow, because that might be it at some point, or any flakes of snow come off of the sky, this piece will get pulled out. And I want to try to get, 200 to 250 stitches whenever it snows. And I did it. I was able to get that. But this was another one that I had to pull out. So I had all the words. The words say sea, sand, sun. Well, after sand, there's supposed to be, just like after sea, there's just a little tiny kind of dot. There was another one after sand, and then the word started. Well, I had mistaken that for the start of the word sun, and I skipped it. So it was too close this way. And there's too many things that I want to I could count off otherwise. As you can tell, I figured it out because I did this across and then nothing was lining up here. So I spent a lot of time after I stitched this line here, I pulled that all out because I wanted to have it not be uneven on each side from the edges. So I did that, and then I saved that for another day, and I stitched this whole element right here where we have the this is actually, do you see this? This is going to be the entire center of the sign. So think of a tiered tray kind of thing. And then the life preserver, right? Isn't that what they're called? But I did get I did get at least 250 stitches in, not even counting the stitches I had to pull out, but I did spend some extra time pulling that out. So I still have the gentleman and the young child fishing, and I'm not sure what's next to that. Just kind of like a post of some sort. And the first time I stitched this too close to the edge. Well, and I ended up just making a trading card out of the lighthouse when I realized it. But I'm having kind of flashbacks of that because, as you can see, this comes down. So I counted like 3 times, and according to the counting, I have enough, but I am definitely feeling worried. But I'm trusting, at that point, I'm trusting I counted and I kind of gave myself a few extra stitches, and this will be scrapbook. So it's not even like I need, I could have started this way close. No, I couldn't. See, look I'm already doing this. I'm already saying that, but I don't even need like this much because when I scrapbook it, I'll put it in tighter. This is 18 count caramel macchiato from Fabrics by Stephanie, which I think will be great on the center of it. But I don't need a lot of that color on the edges. And I am changing. I think the colors I'm all keeping. I'm not 100% sure on that. But in the center, I'm going to put Delaware because that's where I live. If you're wondering, I live in Delaware. And I think all of the letters between these 3 rows, I think all of those letters are actually there. So I just have to crack out some graph paper and chart it for myself. So that's where we are. And so anytime there is the least little bit of snow, I will pull out a summer piece because I refuse to celebrate cold and snow and everything else. All right, the last piece. Oh, it's a digital. I have to show you. I don't have the hard copy. I couldn't wait to buy this when it came out, and so I just went with the digital. No, it had already come out, but I couldn't wait to start it, so I bought the digital. It's Spring Quaker by Lila Studio. So this was slated for this week. This was, of my 3, this was the one I was supposed to stitch this week. You just got all 3 of them. And I am changing the colors. I've changed although the fabric it's not as pink as I'm doing. It's more neutrally, but I'm changing all the floss colors. And that's where I am. This is 18 count Rose Hips from Under the Sea Fabrics. It was a fabric of the month this year, and her fabric of the months, when they're released, are not automatically part of her line. But if you're on her Facebook page, pay attention, because some point this month, I know she will put a certain number of them up for sale, and she'll let you know what will become part of her regular line. So I would say keep an eye out if you like. She had some great color this year. She did a great job coming up with colors. So we have a bumblebee. We have the V and the W. We have the greenery of the flower. I just didn't get to the pink inside. It's the same pink over here. That is called for, and I thought about changing it, but I think given that they're small, I'm going to keep them. I also stitched this butterfly. It's not my favorite of colors in the end, but I don't hate it. And I think in the end, it'll all blend nicely. So I did end up keeping that. And those are the called for. That's why I do have to be kind of careful, because I've changed a lot of them. And if you look in the description box below, as of this point, what I've changed, I do believe I have put in the description box. Now, the one thing I was getting all ready, let me show you, to stitch the bunny. But so the bunny has a kind of a gray outline, and then the bunny is white. All the bunnies are white. So if you look over here on this side, they're all white too. And I'm wondering if I want to do light brown bunnies, because obviously on the original, all of the motifs and the big parts and everything else were different shades of brown. So I could see why white bunnies would be a good contrast. But I'm thinking I might want to change the color of the bunnies. If you have stitched this and you have changed the color of the bunnies, could you reach out and let me know what you did, what you thought? Did you like it in the end? Or if you know if somebody have, if you could point me in a direction. I can, it's so hard now. Like, I can probably do Spring Quaker SAL and see what comes up on Instagram. But hashtags just don't work on Instagram anymore. They're frankly kind of useless, to be honest with you. I still like doing them, having hashtags. It's kind of fun to hashtag something, but I don't think it really does much of anything, to be honest with you, now that they've changed that whole system, sadly. And I feel bad for any small businesses who relied on those hashtags, because they've really been the ones that Instagram did no favors for. So that's my stitching. And I didn't do much this week. I don't know, during the week, but the weekend, I had some quality stitching time, and boy, did I take advantage of it. Plans. Okay, so categories for December was called. It's the letter C, which is great, because that's one, I think that one should be pretty easy to find things for. And given it's December, I don't really want to have to really work too hard at it. So I will be doing things, you'll see things that I reference letter C for this categories. And if you have any questions about any of those, if you've joined Whip Warriors and you're not sure, you can ask in the group. There are chats for the different events. Ask there. Or feel free if you want to ask on my Facebook page or to me or whatever. I'll do my best to help you if you have questions. Just pay attention. Some events, you need to have a word with your starting picture and or a word with your ending picture. Not all of them and not always. But just pay attention and read all of the details, because I'd hate for you to participate in something and then be told, well, it doesn't count because you didn't do one or the other type of things. And maybe you don't care this month, but you just want to try and see what it's like. That's fine too. With categories too, you can't repeat a word. So if I use Christmas for my holiday, I can't use Christmas Eve as my pattern name, because I can't use the word Christmas twice. So just watch that too. Every once in a while I see that. But if you have any questions, And then I'm doing my Flosstube videos, so I believe that the trading card swap will be the first one, so that I'll get excited about that and the details for that. And then potential starts. What did I do with them? Oh, they're over here. I pulled out a few things that potentially or definitely will get started. This one will definitely get started. This is part of the Heart and Hand imprints, Lola and Mary. I'm almost sure I'm going to do them on Friendship Green by Fabrics by Stephanie. I want to do it on a really light green and then have the deeper red and the deeper green on that. I think that'd be pretty. I may or may not stitch this one. I did buy this one with the idea of stitching it this December, but we'll see how the month goes. It is from Barefoot Needle Arts. I believe they themselves have charted it, and it is Beachy Little Christmas. You know I have to stitch that. I live in a beach town. Then this one may not be December. It might be January, but so this is the Season's Blessings. That was the fall, and then this is the winter one. I love that cardinal. And I do like that. That's kind of a pale pink. I don't know if rose hips, if I have enough or if I do something else. I do like the reds against that though. So that could be January. I'm not 100% sure on that. And then Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher, and I've already got Beth's names on my notes because I knew I'd talk about her at some point. Her birthday is in December, and so she is doing a stitch along for her birthday, Stitch Any Rosewood Manor. So I'm stuck between two. I'm still stuck between these two. I think Blue Rhapsody is going to win out. At the very least, I'm going to start Blue Rhapsody. I haven't picked my colors yet. So this is charted in Weeks Dye Works. And there are no DMC alternatives. So I want to see what those colors are in the DMC and then decide if I want those blues or if I want to pick my own two blues. Because I think it's just a light and a dark and that's it. And I've debated on stitching it on Nantucket Sky. So that would be a light blue. Then I would use a dark and a medium blue for the stitching. I'm not sure yet. And then the one that's been a close second is Green Rhapsody. So it may or may not get started as well, but at least one of them, if not both, will get started this month. So we can celebrate Beth and her birthday. And then this is the only one I know, well, besides Black Vintage Sampler, right? I am pulling these out as each month comes back. So this is December's Holly. And I don't have a ton done, but I have a decent amount actually. But I am rethinking. You can see, do you see how the lettering there is the kind of the reddish and the yellow? And after doing the DMC variegated words for November, I'm wondering if I could find a very pretty red variegated DMC and just, that would mean pulling all of that out. So it depends on how motivated I am. But I have a good amount of the holly here done. I have the top and I think the top part here done. Down here is fun. There's the house, there's a little snowman, and then just some more holly. So, well, you know what? Especially if I pull all this out and restitch it, I'm not going to say definitely that this could be a finish this month, but I'm going to give it my all and see what happens. If it's not a finish in 2023, we know it'll be a finish in 2024 because there won't be much left then. And, and my full coverage. So referencing, going back to Nicole from Stem X Stitch, she is stitching Hidden Harbor. And man, it's looking so good. I think she is 25%, if I remember her percentages, done. And it looks so good. And I am stitching Hidden Harbor. And not only is Nicole, but Stitching Mommy, I want to say she just started it. And, you know, I'm sure she's going to get, I don't know how it's working in her plans. I don't remember if it was just the start or if she's going to keep working on it in December. I'm not sure. But between the two of them stitching Hidden Harbor, I said, you know what? I'm going to pull out Hidden Harbor. So I will watch. I'll be in the blue section of Hidden Harbor. Wouldn't that be funny if I gave up my dragons to do this and I'm stuck in blue again? So I will continue with Lazlo Koday, but I do want to pull out Hidden Harbor and do some work on that as well. So We'll see if that happens, especially with these extra videos that I'll be preparing for and filming. I may not get as much stitching done. That's it for plans. Happy mail. I do want to say, and I did want to acknowledge a very special thank you. This was gifted to me. I didn't ask if I could use your name, but thank you very much for gifting that to me. I am so appreciative of that. Oh, you know what? I put them in the library. Then Lisa, Lost in Stitches Lisa, reached out to me. She had seen that I talked about this last week. I had bought this Winter Snow. Isn't that just a great pattern? And I talked about her new patterns and her new releases. This was at the time her only other new release. And so she sent me an email and said, I would like to gift you a few of my patterns as a thank you for talking about my shop. And I'm so excited because this was on my plans to get anyway. And I'm just saying, wouldn't that be, I don't know the exact sizing, but you could size down the what your fabric is. Trading card, super, super cute. You could either put 2023. Oh no, you could put 2024 because it will happen in 2024. Or you could do something else or whatever. So cute. And I love this cardinal too. So anyway, she gifted me that. And then she had a couple new ones that she was releasing this week, and she did. So Lisa has a video a couple days old from now. I'm in the Flosstube, well, not only in the shopping, I'll link her Etsy shop in the shopping, but then when I talk about Flosstubers mentioned, I'll link Lisa's, or I'll put the info for Lisa's Flosstube. And she talks about these two new ones as well. And she also sent those to me and said I could show you because they would be released as of today, already before today. So this one's called Mary. Isn't that adorable? They're kind of companion pieces. And this one's called Bright. Look at those colors. So fun. So a big super thank you to Lisa for gifting those to me. I cannot wait to stitch them. Now, we're going to go right into shopping because Lisa, I just have to kind of wave my finger at you because you got me yet again. I don't know if it was on Instagram. So she had posted one that she had just released, and she was stitching the model herself, and there is a stitch along. I don't know if it's just called Lost in Stitches Sal. I'll have to look it up. Watch Lisa's video. I'm pretty sure she did talk about a stitch along. So she'd released this. And so this morning I was getting ready for the video. I was grabbing these pictures from Etsy, and I was like, oh, you know, I was thinking, oh, I wanted to show you all this new one. And then I just hit buy because I just loved it too much. So, oh, Lisa, what's this called? I don't know. If you go to a Lost in Stitches shop, I think I edited, when I did the screenshot of it, that part ended up out. These would technically be kind of like band samplers, right? Go to her shop. You'll see it. It's so fun and so beautiful. I had to buy that. So that was a purchase this morning right before filming. I couldn't not. I love all the reds, and I don't know what fabric. I can't decide, but oh, it's just so much fun. So I did end up buying that. So that's the only digital I bought. Then I had told you every year for my birthday, I do make a little bit of an order at Fabric Stuff by Stephanie. And I, of course, get two of my favorites. And then I always try maybe another couple colors. So I picked up Friendship Green. And see, look. Now, I know I have smaller pieces of it. So I'm not going to cut into this piece. But those will look great on Friendship Green. And I'm wondering, I have to see what greens Lisa charted, if that'll work for that as well, because the red will just pop. But anyway, I picked up my Friendship Green because this is one of my two favorites from Stephanie that gets used. I kind of use them as neutrals, basically. And then, of course, you probably don't even need to guess that Nantucket Sky was the other one. I love my Nantucket sky. Then I picked up these 3 that I also ordered. I don't have. And I was just, you know, I'm slowly getting to the point where I might have almost all her line, and then I'll know. This one's called Rhiannon. I'm going to open it all the way up because you can see it's a bunch of different colors. So it's different up here than down here, which is really kind of cool because I generally have different parts of these fabrics that I use for different pieces. So depending on what I need, that might be cool. Now these 3 that you're seeing, this one and the next one, I had no plans for. I just wanted to try the colors. The third one, I thought I had a plan, but it's not going to work. But I just love the color anyway. This one is called June Bug. I'm going to open it up. That's what it looks like. So it's, you know, definitely on the brighter green scale, but a lot of fun. This would be cool if I did, these would probably be cool for like fancy ladies and stuff. I just don't know which ones. I don't do a lot of those. Never say never, but just don't end up doing a lot of them yet. And then this one, you know, it's so hard to tell right from the computer. So I said, I'm going to give it a shot because it's a blue, right? So I'll like it anyway. This is called Ariel's Grotto. I was thinking potentially for my fish and chips because I want to do it. I'm doing it in white floche. And so I was thinking that. But in person, it's not quite what I was looking for. So I like the blue quite a bit, but I don't think I'm using it for fish and chips. Now, I mentioned that because I was going through, I have a basket of projects, some of which I am not going to continue stitching. And so I kind of have to de-kit them kind of thing. And then I'll probably give away the patterns. And there's things that need kind of little final finish touches to finish them or things like that, or things I've started and I didn't like the fabric. So I was going to restart and this, that, and the other. So there was one piece that I'd started on black. I'd started it in 2019 and I made a mistake in the stitching. So I wasn't 100% sold on the black, but then the fact that I have to frog out a good portion because a lot of it goes, it'll affect a lot of what I had stitched. I was kind of like, I'm ditching it. So I had grabbed this fabric and I was going to stitch it and I just never got to it. So it's been sitting and sitting in that bag. And so I was flipping through and I pulled this out and I said, oh, this may work for fish and chips. So I wanted your opinion. So I'll show you with the floss in a second. I have no idea. It's an opal. Can you see the sparkle? I don't know who it is and what the color name is because there's no information with it. I'm going to check the bag again because I mean, I'm not even sure why I would have ordered this. I don't order a lot of opal unless I have a specific plan. So, anyway, and then I was thinking about, oh, I better measure, but I think I've got plenty of fabric because then I was worried if I get my heart set on this piece and then the fabric's not big enough, I will cry. But I'm almost sure. The other pieces I thought about for this. What do you think? Would this work for fish and chips? Long dog, which I'm hoping to be my new year, new start. Let me know what you think. I do still have one Bestitchme that I ordered, but I ordered it kind of, I think I ordered it the middle of November. And Bestitchme, I love her fabrics, but custom orders take a long time usually. So it's a 50-50 shot whether or not I'd get it before New Year's. And so then I wouldn't be able to use it for that start. So I knew that going in, you know, I mean, her fabric's beautiful. So if I'm ordering something for a piece, I always have a backup plan if I want to start it by a certain time, because I know I'll use her fabrics. They're just gorgeous. And, you know, if they come in earlier than I expected, then it's just a nice little surprise. So that's my shopping. And this wasn't, well, I shopped my bags of stuff that needs to be reintegrated into the craft room, and I found something after all that. Could you imagine if I had actually done that ahead of time? I might have found that stuff before I was driving myself crazy trying to find fabric. So anyway, that's the shopping. That's about it. Giveaways. So I am giving away this cute little, now this is I did stitch this, so it is passing the stash kind of thing. Like, I did use it, but I don't write on my patterns. Well, I don't even know this one. This was before I started making working copies. So there might be, some crinkles in it, but otherwise it's perfectly usable. Little House Needleworks, it's snow cold. And I just stitched this part right here. And I made that little guy into an ornament. He'd be cute actually for trading cards too. I'd look at little snowmans if you're not sure what you want to do for the trading card. As one, I don't know how many you want to stitch. Whether you want to stitch one or more, I don't know. But if you're participating, start keeping an eye out for winter. All right, I asked you to say the word cold. I don't want the cold, but it's coming, right? So let me mix these around a little bit. And who's my winner? My winner is, let me go this way with it so we can see, Kim Colangelo. Congratulations, Kim. If you want to get back to me with your address, we'll get this out to you. I'm going to put your name right in here. So there we go. That's all set. So this coming week, what I thought I would do is, I don't know about you, but 123 Stitch has the first house. You can order the first house for Cottage Garden Samplings for their season for next year. Did you see that series, the house series? And I think it was an email last night. And there was, no, I don't know where, no, it didn't come from 123 Stitch. I shouldn't say, I don't know if they have them, but I did see a release. I think I get the Hoffman emails just to see what's coming out. I think it was Hoffman. And I got, so not only did it show that house, I think it's called Santa House, but it showed the Autumn Quaker from Lila Studio. So I was thinking, well, one of the first places I'll look is 123 Stitch, right? I mean, I stitch at a bunch of different places, but I do have a gift certificate there. So, why not use it? And so I thought maybe you'd like to do a little shopping at 123 Stitch as well. So I'm going to give away a $10 gift card to 123 Stitch. All you do is say the word Holly, Holly, somewhere in your comment, and I will put your name in the blue bowl, and I will pick a name next video. As usual, please don't say giveaway or free. I don't know if the 18 and older applies for digital items because you're not giving me your address. You're just giving me your email address. But most definitely, if you could please be a subscriber. I don't check. I don't require. We're adults. I believe your word. But I would ask, potentially, if you're not a subscriber, if you could subscribe, I would really appreciate it. I am slowly getting closer to 5,000, which blows my mind. But it'd just be fun if you watch and you haven't subscribed, if you could subscribe, that'd be great. All right, so that is it on the stitching. So if you stayed this long with the stitching, thumbs up. I know it's busy. I know there's stuff going on, and I do appreciate it. Have a great week. All right, life stuff. My company they all left on Saturday. So that was where I got a lot of stitching done really on Saturday, and then a good portion on Sunday. I had the house completely to myself on Saturday. And so I just bopped from project to project to project and just had a blast. I love having family over, and I love the company, but I also love the quiet. And so by Saturday morning, which is when everybody headed away, I was ready for a little bit of the quiet. So I took advantage of it, and I really enjoyed it. Mo was back on Sunday, and but again, he had driven up to Connecticut and back down again and left really early on Sunday morning. So it was a quiet day for him, obviously. We weren't going to go doing a whole bunch of things. So I still did some good stitching and so on and so forth. So that was really, my weekend was just kind of stitching. Yesterday was a little nicer. We got the outdoor lights out, but I don't have a wreath. I've been looking and looking and looking, and the wreaths are all kind of flat. So I haven't done the outdoor completely decorating yet. And I have a window box. I have in the front, I have one window box, but it is something like a 6-foot window box. So it's, I Google and I look for, like window box decorations, but they're always for smaller ones. I don't know exactly always what to do with the bigger one. So anyway, I'm a little stymied with that, but it'll happen. I'll figure it out when it happens. And I still have my pumpkins, just as a little PSA kind of thing. Pumpkins, when you're done with them, if they're not painted, and you sometimes they can be carved, sometimes not. But if you throw pumpkins in the garbage and then they go to dumps, they're actually really, really, really bad for the environment. They don't break. I know you'd think they'd break down, but there's something about it is really bad. Now, if you have woods and you have animals in the woods, you can go crack it open, throw it in the woods. You can feed your animals type of thing if you so choose. But there is an organization called Pumpkins for Pigs, and I think it's pumpkinsforpigs.com. It's not in every state, but if you click it on, it will show you what states there are farms that participate in. And when you click on the state, it will show you, then it'll give you all the farms that participate. And most of them you can email or you can text or something or other, and they tell you what they'll accept. And so we were just looking this week, and we're gonna probably wrap up all the place we're going takes gourds as well as pumpkins, and because I had some of those out on my window box to decorate with mums. And so I'm just gonna grab all that stuff, send them a quick email, and drop that off to them. So, and then the animals get to eat it. And some of them will take Christmas trees if you do live trees. Some of them take hay or straw. Some of them take things like kiddie pools, so in the summer their animals can swim. So it's great to just give it a quick look. I don't know if it's anywhere besides the United States, and I know for a fact because there was none listed for Connecticut because I just happened to look because that's where we used to live. So not every state has it, but maybe yours does. And I mean, obviously Delaware's small, so odds are I'm going to find one close. If you're living in a big state, it may not work for you so much. But that's just a little aside, rather than throwing your pumpkins in the garbage and them going. And who knew? I would have thought that they just broke down like anything else, but apparently they don't. So there's that. That's my little aside. Other than that, this week wasn't super busy or productive. This weekend I am going to the Jingle Ball starting tonight. I'm excited. I did watch the video from Lindy Stitches to explain it. So if you haven't, I would suggest you do it. It was really helpful. I didn't sign up for any classes. I just wanted to enjoy. I know people talked about the entertainment was a lot of fun, some meet and greets. I know, for example, Beth's group has, I don't know where they were talking about meeting in one of the stitching areas. I know Late Night Stitchers is meeting in a, and there's, all these different stitching rooms, and I might just bop around a little bit and try to meet people. I don't think there's something called whip speed dating. I'm not sure I'm ready for that because I am a fairly quiet person, but if you are, somebody who's really extroverted and you really want to meet different people, it sounds really cool, to be honest with you. But I might just bop around and kind of challenge myself to kind of just go somewhere where I don't necessarily know if I know somebody, and see if I can meet somebody new. But anyway, I'm sure there are other places too that people are going to be, that they said that they'll be in certain rooms or whatever. But maybe I'll see you if you're going. And of course I'm going to do some shopping because, that's half the fun. All right, I guess that's it. It's long enough, and there's, we're starting that month. We're starting that busy, busy month. So be on the lookout for a few extra videos from me. I hope your December starts off the best way it can for you, and I hope for all of us. Remember, there's so much going on and so many things that you have to do, right? Take care of yourself. Carve out a little bit of time for yourself if you can each and every day. Even if it's like 5-10 minutes, just do something just for yourself. It's not selfish. It's not selfish at all. It is self-care. And again, I've said this before, it took me way too long to figure that out. And I get it. When I had small kids, I took care of everybody but myself. And by Christmas, I was always sick. So please think about yourself. Think about what will make you happy and feel good, and just feed your soul a little bit and do a little bit of that each and every day, because things will get crazy and busy. And I want you to be happy through this season, or feel as good as you can. So that's my little talk there. And until I see you next time, happy stitching.